Hey there, guys, and welcome back to Eve Fits with JEFFRAIDER, who we're still celebrating his YouTube popularity. He ended up on the front page of Twitch the other night for the Video Game Awards, right before they announced the Game of the Year in the Eve trailer. How did that feel, Jeff?
Pretty good. I missed it, but yeah, it's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet.
All right, so today we're doing a pre-Rhea fit. By the time this video comes out, it should be right around the time Rhea comes, probably Monday at the latest, Tuesday at the very latest. And we're going to be looking at the brand new ships, the Tech 3 destroyers, but we're only getting one in this patch. And which ship is that, Jeff?
Oh, it's the MR one, the Confessor, and as I understand, there was some sort of race for the data cores or something like between the factions.
Yeah, there was a community event where players had to bring in certain parts and like PVE stuff and give it to one of the four different factions. Whoever got the most would get their Tech 3 ship first. MR1.
MR Victor, and also there's a lot of role players that care about that stuff, so I suspect that's probably a lot of where it went.
I think CVA did a lot of work for them.
Yeah, it's kind of cool though. I mean, I think the MR one's gonna be really neat. So the thing with the Tech 3 destroyers is they don't lose skill points. They don't have subsystems, but they have three modes. They've got a speed mode that gives you a boost to your micro warp drive or afterburner speed and your agility of your ship, so you line quick. They've got a tank mode, which gives you an armor bonus for the Confessor, and also gives you what is it, sig radius reduction. And then they have sniper mode, which I think will probably end up being one of the most powerful ones. It gives you optimal range for your guns, I believe, and targeting range, and also scan resolution. Now, I think the sniper modes are going to turn out to be the best, but one other thing they're doing in Rhea is making a change to small lasers. So they're sort of nerfing, and I can't remember the exact stats. Basically, the thing is the EFT has a Confessor in it, but doesn't have the small laser changes yet. So I'm pretty much just going to go off the idea that I'm just going to sort of ignore the sniper stuff right now and show you a couple fleet fits and a couple solo fits that I think will be really cool for it. So yeah, so the Confessor, let's have a look here. And you can get the new EFT. The guy that does EFT actually released a preview version for this. So it's right at the official site. You don't have to go to FHC or whatever. So CZ1. Now, actually, my mouse over stuff working? Yeah, it is. Cool. So we get 10% bonus to energy damage, small energy turret damage, reduction in energy turret cost, and a small reduction in heat damage. And then if you see here the defensive mode, so it's 33% bonuses to armor and sig, 66 bonus to velocity, and 33% bonus to inertia for speed. And sniper, yeah, it's 66% bonus to optimal range. And they're buffing small beam lasers. So like I said, I think it'll probably be the most powerful version of the ship in sniper mode with beam lasers once I can actually have a look at it in EFT. It's just not, this EFT has a Confessor, but it's not out yet, so I'm just going to focus on this. So the way I see this ship working really well is in sort of a mini armor hack role. So let's start by adding some lasers here. So I can never remember the name of the small pulse lasers, so I always just like do this because I'm dumb. Yeah, so small focus pulse lasers. And we see here it's got 6 guns on it, a little light for a destroyer, but comes with a utility high slot as well, which is cool. And since we're going to be using this in a close-up role, just go for conflag. And if you see right away, it's got 313 DPS with nothing. It's got 4,000 EHP in this mode, whatever we're in. In the new EFT, you right-click and go to Tactical Destroyer mode here. So you see we're in defensive mode to start with. If you see speed mode here, it changes the stats. And sniper mode, if you see there, it's not too impressive with pulse lasers. Like here, let me just show you what it looks like with scorch in. So 19 kilometers of scorch. Really, nothing that OP, I don't believe. You can add some mods on. I was playing around with sort of a kiting fit earlier that someone was using, and it had about 30 kilometers of scorch. I don't know how it's going to work in terms of actual gameplay, though, because you're going to have to sort of use the speed mode to get to kiting range, swap to sniper mode to use the range, and then you'll be without the speed you're using to kite. So I don't know if it's going to be that useful in that sense. So I'm just going to stick to what I love. And basically every single one of my videos has featured a close range, high damage, high tank, scram web combo. Not very innovative, but I don't know. It's what I like and it's what I'd fly. So got the guns on here, and if you see this, 100 grid. It's got tons of grid. So let's go ahead and stick to our armor hack idea here. I'm going to add an afterburner. And if you see, we're going to go to speed mode. This gets us 1,000 or almost 1,100 meters a second without heat. You can heat for pretty much ages, 2 minutes, 37 seconds, and you're up to 1,300 meters a second, which is actually pretty good. So I see this as being sort of the bailout scenario thing where, say, your little armor hack fleet is deep in bubbles and killing people, but you decide you're not tanking. You can swap over to speed mode and pretty much clear bubbles, semi quickly for an armor hack fleet. Right. So afterburner, good. Now we want to add some tank, and if you see, we still got 30 grid here, so I think that's plenty of grid for a 400 millimeter plate. Yep, beautiful. So we're only 1% over. We can work with that. We'll figure it out later once we add some more stuff in. Gonna definitely add a damage control here. And if you see our CPU, got 100 left, which is good, but we've still got 5 slots to fit. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut to the chase here and add an adaptive nanoplating. I'm pretty sure with what we've got on this version of the ship that we won't be able to fit on an energized adaptive, especially because I want these 2 slots for damage, because this is really good. Check this out. So we're up to 460 DPS. And one other thing to note about this ship that's really cool. This ship is going to cost CCP Fozzie said roughly around 40 million ISK, which is real cheap. Especially
that's not very expensive for a Tech 3 ship, especially in a destroyer class.
Exactly. It's basically the price of a Dictor. Like it's definitely very reasonable. If these were 100 million base price, I'd be a little more like, but I can just totally see fleets of these going out and just destroying how cheap they are. Right, and so mid slots, let's go for a scram web. I can already see we probably don't have enough. We're gonna have to make some sort of compromise here because we're almost out of CPU. And as usual, the first thing we do is put the damage control to a meta 4. It's like 6 million, but now we're up to 20 million ISK. So EFT right now is not calculating anything for the price of the ship, so this price right here is just the fittings, basically. That fits. Nice. But see, we're way over on grid, so we're going to have to add an ACR. So that's a small ancillary current router. And let's start with a T1. Probably have to go to a T2, I think. Well, it's an option to go to a T2, because see, we've still got this high slot here. And I'm wondering if we can fit on a small newt. We can, but now this means we're going to have to do this, put that to a T2, that fits, and we're a few over, but we've got a lot of room to play around with in here, so I'm just going to go ahead and make this a J5B. Okay, we're only a little bit over, and I guess I'm going to have to go Langor on this one to save 2 CPU. There we go, and you can probably get away with doing an X5 if you don't mind a 1% implant, so whatever you feel like. I like to...
Yeah, 1% implants aren't that expensive these days, are they?
No, they're super cheap. They're $1 million ISK each. It's just basically, a lot of the times people have clones with something else in that implant slot, so I like to design fits for not having any implants. And now, you see I used a T2 rig here. It's only 5 million ISK. It's not even that bad, so the T2 rig prices are really low right now, and that means I see no problem at all with fitting Tech 2 rigs on a 40 million ISK ship. Basically, every frigate I fly now, even T1 frigs, I'll throw T2 rigs on just because, if I'm going out and putting the effort in, I don't mind spending a little extra money, basically. So we're going to do T2 Trimarks. See, this pops up the price about 15 million. But now we got a fit ship. 37 million ISK in fittings, roughly 40 million for the destroyer once prices kind of equalized. So we're talking about 80 million. That's really cheap, honestly. That's a
like 80 to 100 million for a Tech 3 destroyer that does all the stuff that this can do.
Yeah, I think it's very reasonable. Yeah, so
yeah, it's a fairly reasonable price.
We got 460 DPS at close range. That's nice. We've got scorch range without sniper mode of 11. So it's probably going to be pretty good to use in a general fleet situation because with small ships, like I talked about in the Incursus video, a lot of the time is spent moving from target to target, and it's sort of wasted. So this sort of scorch range is actually probably going to come into play a lot. But 460 DPS up close, trying to burn down a, I don't know, say tackle a carrier or something is really nice. You see our cap, 3 minutes, 15 seconds, everything running. You're in practical terms not going to use the newt that much. An option too, if you guys want, is to add in a small diminishing power drain, a small Nosferatu. They take up an extra 1 unit of grid, which we could find in the afterburner, but they take up I think, let's have a look actually. I think that it's 15 and 9 or something for CPU. Yeah, so that would take up another 6 CPUs, so we'd have to compromise something else for it, which we could. It's not the end of the world to do it, but I just figure I might as well have the NOS or the newt. I don't expect to use it that much.
If you were a rich person, would you go for the Uper small NOS?
I don't think so. You see, it's a little better fitting, but I think it's pretty expensive. Let's see what it costs. 30 mil. That's not too bad. I mean, that's not too bad. And yeah, that's an option too. So if you guys felt like going with that, it's totally cool. But just generally speaking, for a T2 fit, I quite like this. Yeah, and you see it's cap stable with MWD and guns going. Now, the thing with this is I'm not afraid of heavy newts really in most frigate or smaller ships because they regen cap quickly. But this ship uses cap for its guns as well, so a heavy newt could actually kind of mess your fleet up a little bit. Now, I've kind of been holding off from showing you guys what this looks like in defensive mode. Right now, we're in speed mode. Okay, let's go to defensive mode. Boom, we're up to 15k EHP, 460 DPS. That means this is easily the match of any sort of other destroyer size hull or smaller. There's nothing else with these kind of stats, basically. And what's really cool is if you're doing a fleet of these, and let's say bringing along a T3 for armor, we're up to 20k EHP, and let's say you bring along a Loki for skirmish, and you can probably do these in just one ship. Like I think the Legion can just do skirmish and armor itself. But if you have a look here, the SIG is 26 meters. It's tiny. That means even small guns, like have a look at this gun here. Its signature is 40. So the smallest guns in the game are 40 SIG radius. Our ship is only 26.8, so that means we're going to take damage reduction from even the tiniest anti-frigate weapons, which is really cool. And if you see, it does 652 afterburner, which is really nice. So this is the kind of fleet that I kind of see it being like you could either bring cruiser logi with you, like Guardians, or you could do frig logi, but I tell you, the frig logi will be dying first, basically, because these things are so tough. The enemy FC would be crazy for shooting them before shooting your Inquisitors or your Navitas. But you totally could do that. And another really cool thing about these, 4.5 AU a second warp speed. So that's not as fast as an Inti, but it's really nice, basically. It means that if you're in travel mode with this, which I imagine you'd be on speed mode, single lines in 3 seconds and warps at 4.5 AU a second. That means it's a good quality of life if you're roaming with this ship as well. It's the kind of thing you could take 10 jumps to a fight. And not hate yourself after. Right, so that's one version of this. Now, I just want to go along the lines of Armor Hack here, and I'm just going to make a second one, but I'm just going to show you how good this can get. So, this one I want to make more tanky, so I need to make room for that. And basically when I say more tanky, I'm going to be upgrading this plate and trying to get rid of this ACR. So we're going to go drop the guns one level. And just going to get rid of this puppy here. Boom. And I think we should be able to fit the bigger plate. 402. And now the theme of this one I want to go is tankier. So we're going to lose that. We're going to add on an energized adaptive because we're going to have room for it now. Where are you? There we go. This all fits, and actually we've got room to spare for CPU, so we're going to upgrade that damage control back to T2. Look at that. 30k EHP out of this little frigate. That's crazy.
What's the price difference between that fit versus the first one? Because you're seeing about 30.3 million, which
this will
will
be a
round that up
little
to like
cheaper.
70 mil.
Yeah, 37 to 30. So yeah, basically about the same. Yeah, this is just another option. And honestly, like this. Oh, and sorry, we're not using scorch on these puppies or conflag. I mean, the thing with these is you'd pretty much always want to go conflag. I'm just going to go ahead and upgrade this stuff to the Meta-4 versions. All fits, nice and easy fitting. And so you lose 130 DPS up close, but man, 30k EHP out of a destroyer hull that's 26 meters. That is mental. I think these
For
are
less than 100 mil.
awesome. Yeah. I can totally see these being a super fun little fleet to fly. Like, it's going to be impossible to shoot them off you, basically. It's going to be really good.
So when you mentioned doing a fleet with them, would you use any other ships other than, say, Guardians or something like that? Or would you want to only use these as your main DPS?
I'd use these for DPS, but the cool thing with this is you can do lots of smaller armor ships. So you can have Maledictions for tackle, which could have a 400 plate on them. I'm pretty sure you could do that. You could have Heretics or Heiresses for armored Dictors that could just blend right in, basically. And yeah, and so like I said about the Logi choice, you could even, I would say this could even be worth having Guardians with, because they're not much faster than a Guardian under Afterburner. So yeah, this could be a super fun fleet. Alright, so that's basically the two fleetish concepts. So I just want to show you guys something cool about this ship. And this is what I'm planning on flying when I get mine. So C3 Solo. Let's just go ahead and convert both of these to solo fits, because it's pretty easy. All you have to do, basically, to convert your fleet fit to a solo fit is drop the NOS and add a micro warp drive. Where's the stupid thing? There we go. Boom, that all fits the same. And now you've got a ship that when you're roaming, and actually if you're solo you want up bonuses. Seriously, a coward. No, I'm just kidding. This thing can do 3k a second now. Zip around. So you can do 3k a second and go get tackle on something, okay? And once you get tackle on it, you just switch over to defensive mode, and boom, you got 15k HP, and you're doing 460 DPS. Will just mulch any other smaller ship. Um, and so yeah, you could just go rolling around solo in this puppy, and totally do a good job of killing every frigate you run into. Basically, and the cool thing too is right is let's go to Scorch here. This ship is kind of nice for this. You can flip it over to sniper mode, and now if you're getting kited by say a hawk or something like that, or a light missile ship, you can switch this to Scorch, which is about 20 kilometers, like nearly all up to point range. You can hit at 24, but it'd be like wet paper DPS at that point. And the cool thing too is if you get kited by a fast missile ship, you can also swap over to speed mode and start messing with them. So when you're at the sniper range, you will only be doing say I don't know what the speed is without it. You'll be doing 1700 meters a second. Then you just go ahead and swap over to speed mode and get a nice boost that they might not see coming. I mean, they probably will. And the way the mechanics for this work is, I'm not sure what the final game's going to look like, but on Sissy right now, to the right of your capacitor, basically, there's 3 just buttons. And you can switch, it's an instant switch, and you can do it once every 10 seconds. So you really can be flicking through these modes as you need them. And the end goal, of course, is to get a scram web on something. And then suddenly, boom, you're in defensive mode, with a signature of 40 without bonuses and a whole lot of EHP. So yeah, and we can.
And I would imagine people would set those switches on the Confessor or any of the other Tech 3 destroyers to a hotkey.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you knew that, but I think if you can't do that on launch, it'll be something to get to pretty quickly. I just don't know for a fact that's in there, but yeah, that could totally make sense as well. And you see with this one here, we're only 2% over, so we can just get rid of the NOS here. And this one really intrigues me as well, because basically when you're looking at a interdictor or frigate, 333 DPS is really, really good. That's on the high end for most ships, except for I'm thinking like the Ares can do like insane super strength DPS of like, I think it can do like 500 or 600 or 700. But you would definitely kill an Ares in this because you could outlast him with how much EHP you have. So this version of it, running around with more EHP, I think is kind of even more attractive to me. I like having 460 DPS, but man, having 22k EHP in a solo ship that does 3k a second to tackle and then swaps over to this, really exciting stuff. So basically, these are 2 fits that you can just easily convert to solo. And like I said, I don't think we're even touching the real power of the Confessor, which is going to be sniper mode. And I'm just waiting with bated breath for the new EFT to come out, which will include those changes. So yeah, I think that's.
So yeah, this is a ship we can definitely take a look back on in like a couple of weeks to take a look at how more sniper-specific mode would work.
Absolutely, yeah. I think you're going to see a lot of sniper-centric fleets of these going out with beam lasers, and like I've also seen really cool variations of this that I didn't steal for this, even though I considered it. I've seen an oversized prop one, a 10 AB, looked really good. I've seen a dual prop one that looked cool. I saw one on Reddit that was sort of like the Solo Navy Omen with a nano and a small ancillary armor repair. So there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do with the ship. It seems very flexible, and that's mostly because of the 3 built-in modes, but also just because of the awesome fitting room of 100 grid. So yeah, I'm really excited about this ship. I can't wait to get my hands on.
Okay. And that is it for this episode of Eve Fits. Thank you, Jeff, for stopping by yet again. And for more EVE Online news, articles, and analysis, you can always visit crossingzebras.com. You can also visit eve101.com for those of you who are new to the EVE Online community and want to learn the basics of the game mechanics. We're doing some stuff over there. And we'll be joined there by Jeff, hopefully, at some point, to do an overview on how to fit a ship at a very basic and understand how to use tools such as EFT. So again, thank you, Jeff, and we'll see you next time.